introduction to our organization and our speakers, so I'll just begin with that first. So, a very warm good evening to all of you. I am Gunjan, Senior Editor with S&Das Art and Cultural Trust, and I welcome you all to today's panel discussion on Ambedkarite Aesthetics and Navayana Buddhism for our Art and Resistance webinar series. S&Das Art and Cultural Trust is a non-government organization affiliated to Niti Aayog, Government of India. Our trust has been actively working to provide art education, scholarships and employment to students all over the country. The organization is being led by his son, our chairman, Mr. Soumitra Das, and a director, Mr. Vinod Kumar Malik, who is a contemporary artist, having done his masters from Shantiniketan, West Bengal. For today's webinar, we have invited 3 scholars and artists who have been working with Dalit art resistance and its representation in popular culture, specifically in current socio-political climate. Our first speaker for the evening will be Rahee Punyashloka, who is a visual artist, writer and experimental filmmaker from Bhubaneswar. His films have been screened in numerous venues, including the International Film Festival Rotterdam and Tribeca Film Festival New York. Our second speaker is Unnamati Syama Sundar, a self-taught cartoonist working on themes of Ambedkarite art, Dalit feminism, Dalit student suicides and campus politics, etc. His cartoons have been featured in Sahitya Academy Literature Journal and in several academic books. He also participated in the International Comic Art Festival in Switzerland, where his cartoons on Dalit art were exhibited. Our third speaker for the evening is Ajit Kumar, a Delhi-based visual artist and researcher currently pursuing his PhD in visual studies from School of Art and Aesthetics, Jawahar Lal Nehru University, Delhi. As an art practitioner and researcher, his interest involves around caste, gender and Buddhist art. His MPhil dissertation was titled The Revival of Modern Buddhism in Bodh Gaya, Kushinagar and Vaishali, a comparative study of cultural politics of 3 Buddhist sites. Last but not the least, our moderator for the evening is Krishnapriya CP, a practicing visual artist based in Chennai. Her work primarily deals with the self and its relationship with the environment, interweaving history and local political discourses. She was one of the curators of the 2 editions of the Student Biennale Kochi in 2016-17 and 2018-19. She was also a resident artist at University of Pennsylvania in the fall of 2017 and summer 2019. On behalf of S&Das Art and Cultural Trust, I welcome all of you, our speaker, audience, and a moderator. And now I will hand over the charge to Krishnapriya. Thank you so much. Krishnapriya, over to you.
Thank you, Gunjan, for introducing all of us. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. I welcome you all to an evening of discussions around art and resistance. And in particular, today's presentations will discuss Ambedkarite aesthetics and Navayana Buddhism. We have a diverse and interesting panel here today, and I welcome them again. The challenges that are in the present is throwing up for us is constantly pushing us to reimagine the future. Most of us know we don't want it to be like the past. And perhaps this has been a pressing question.
Introduction to our
Relationship building is further protected or being more violent. As much as there are interesting alternate ways that are being devised for us, the very core of education and ways in which it is transmitted has been deeply affected. The question of who has access and who does not is right in front of us, forcing us to react. From here, with accumulating injustices, disparities widening, how do we imagine the future?
Print media, the beginning of this thing is print media. Solely because of this colonial period progressive artwork. I started from the Punch magazines. To depict this kind of social satire art, say a pot-belly Brahmin, some sort of satire on the social life of Brahmins, in the beginnings of Punch magazines. I think this slowly started from West Bengal to South Madras Presidency, non-Brahmin journals and all this. Also in the Marathi region of this thing. So only because of this Punch magazine, the rise of Punch magazine. So similar case is with Madras Presidency also. Although we don't have this Punch series in any of these southern languages, but alternatively we have Tamil cartoon digest or Telugu cartoon digest, Kannada, Malayalam cartoon digest. If Krishnapriya could, Krishnapriya can remember this Vikaran, Ananda Vikaran, Tamil Nadu in Tamil region. Bharati cartoonist Bharati started early cartoons.
Yes, yeah.
In Tamil region.
Right.
Yeah. It is cartoonist Bharati who started cartoons. Bharati also did both social cartoons and political cartoons as well. Yes, this comic tradition. It's not that the Madras Presidency is not completely disconnected with all these comics. We also have this in Malayalam region. We have Vidushakan. In Kannada and Telugu region, we have this comic digest called Chitragupta, which produced so many cartoons around that time on the social life of Brahmin, social satire and existing social. The main themes of these cartoons are primarily on Brahmin's life and Brahminism or say whatever. Bright price, orthodoxy of Brahmins, and then child marriages, widow marriage, all these things. And much more on the Brahmins, very orthodox life, very rigid, Sanatana kind of mentality and all. Later it went to this kind of some sort of sympathetic to
Sorry, Shyam, sorry to interrupt you. Your voice suddenly goes very low, the volume, and so yeah. I don't know if do you think you can try and hold it closer to you? Maybe is that?
Yes. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay now. It just like suddenly dips a bit. Yeah.
I think I'm just moving the mobile. That's what it is.
This is better. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So this is the way these cartoons, these magazines started publishing cartoons. One such example is like artist, the Tamil artist Bhashyam Iyengar has drawn the history of these cartoons and social satire, social evils or social satire. Taking the case of untouchable or caste system. Then later came this with this idea of post-independence comics through Chandamama and other Amar Chitrakatha and all these comics. So this is the trend. This is the situation in colonial period where artists showed a kind of progressiveness, anti-caste ideology through their cartoons. But there is a shift in post-independence as these kind of social satires or social cartoons are missing. I think it is only because of kind of reinventing a kind of tradition, this casteist traditions or Sanatanism through these mythological stories, just like the way it is in Chandamama comics or in Amar Chitrakatha thing. The best example could